basically what we want to do is we only get the analysis when it's first pulled down, right? But we instead want to get the analysis and we want to change it every time, something new comes in. So what we need to do is basically make the entire analysis thing like a component, right? So if we take, where does it start? I guess it starts like kind of in here, like everything in here. All this is like the thing that's on the right. We need to make this a new component, so it's a client component. And then inside that client component, we can use state to keep track of analysis, and then we can have it change when something comes in, or like basically it's like a form. We need to do that because right now, the only way to get this to re-render is to do like a revalidate or something like that, which is fine. We could do that too, but I don't think it'll be as smooth. Actually, let's just try it. Let's see what happens. So we can go into the API route and we can say revalidate path. I think the path will just be journal /entry.id. We can see what that looks like. I mean, if it works, now we can just do that. I'm fine with that. Let's see. So we'll let that load. I guess I should have made it happy. So we'll see if it changes. Because now we can't tell if it changed or not, and it was the same thing. So let's say, today was so great. Yeah, that's what I thought. It wasn't going to do it. I just refreshed that, by the way. It didn't do that. Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to move that to a client component. So let's do that. So I will go into this page here. We're just going to pretty much grab all of this. We're going to create a client component. So I'll make a new component here, and I'll just call it like the analysis component. Gonna just do that and use client at the top like that. Cool. So within this component, actually, let me just make sure I'm doing the exact same thing I had on the repo here. I don't want to do something completely different. What did I do here for that? Oh, that's right. I remember what I did there. I guess I'll stick to that. So what I did with the final version, actually, I just put it all in the editor versus just making another component, since the editor was already a client component. I guess that makes sense. I guess we could just do that. Yeah, let's just do that. That makes sense, because it'll actually be easier since the data is in here versus me having to pass it down. So let's do that. I'll just put it in the editor. I like that better. So we'll bring this in the editor. Basically, all we need to do is go to the page, and we don't even need, we just want to take everything that has like the border right here. Just gonna get rid of all that. We're basically just gonna do everything we have here with like the grid and stuff. Like all this is just gonna happen in the editor now. Whereas like the editor was only the editor. Now the editor is going to be the whole page. Does that make sense? Before it was just a text box. Now it's going to be the entire page. That's basically what we're doing. So we're basically going to bring a lot of this stuff over to the editor. So let's do that. I will go to, let me copy that again. I'm going to go to the editor. We have this text area here, right? So I'm going to just add it. Just going to paste that stuff in right now. Obviously, it's going to break. That's totally fine. And we're just going to do the same thing we had in the original page, which is just bringing, I guess in this case, just the grid stuff. So let's bring the grid stuff over like that. Got our grid stuff. And then we'll wrap this text area in a div. So it has a class name of call span 2, just like it did in the other one. And then for this one, should be good there, other than the analytics data, obviously just not going to work there. It's going to break. That's fine. And then back in the page, I don't want a grid here. I'm just going to get rid of the grid, get rid of the call span stuff. You could just have an editor. Cool. Also don't need to do any of the analysis stuff in here at all. Just get rid of that. Not even going to use that because we're just going to do it all in editor now. I mean, you still want to make the call to get the data here, or just that we're passing the entire entry to the editor. And then I'm just going to paste that right above my autosave, where now I can get the analysis like that. So that should get rid of those errors. Everything should pretty much render the same. There might be some CSS differences, but yeah, on my screen it looks pretty much the same. And then now that it's all in a client component, we can grab some state and do some stuff. So I'll just stay right here for a second if you want to check it out. But really, the only thing I did was take, everything we had in this page, as far as like the CSS, the grid and stuff, and just applied it to the top level of this one and treated text area like the editor, and everything else was the same. Also, don't forget, I have the code on GitHub. You can copy that if you want to take a look at it. So now I'm going to set up that state to get our analysis. So what we can do is make a new state. So we can say, this is our analysis. We can set an analysis. Use state. Its default is going to be entry.analysis, like so. And then instead of, where is it at? Instead of using entry.analysis for the destructuring, we'll just use analysis. We'll pull from that, right? And then all we have to do is after this update, we can just say, yeah, set analysis to be, this updated thing, which I believe this will be a destructured data actually. So this will just be data.analysis. And then now this array is bound to the analysis, which gets changed every single time we call update, which should cause a re-render, which should change these values. And we should see some changes there. Versus before, it was bound to the entry.analysis, which never changed because that came in as a prop from a server component that never re-renders. So that would never change. Now, it will change because this is where we call update. And we get back the update, which is on data. Data is an entry. Entry has a dot analysis. So we change it. And calling this re-renders everything. So let's see what we wrote. Today was so great. Okay. Today was meh. I had an just okay day. Had better, seen worse. And let's see if something crashes there. Yay, okay. So what do we have? This thing says, can I read properties of undefined? Reading analysis, line 25. Let's see. It's probably something to do with this update here. So, I already returned data.data. I was smart about it. I already knew I was going to use it apparently. So I don't need to destructure in this case. It's like one of those times where you're like, I'm going to put my keys up in the house somewhere so I don't lose them. And then you forget where you put them up.
And where was TypeScript?
Yeah. Where was TypeScript in all of this? Yeah. So we'll do that. See what happens. Oh, Okay, so let's see here. This thing says, oh, I think I know why this might be, but cannot remove analysis as is undefined. Yeah, so I think this just means we need to go to our API on the update, which is here. And we just need to make sure that, you can see right now we're only returning the updated entry, which is fine. We don't need to await this. Or actually, no, we do. So basically the updated entry won't have the new analysis on it, right? We just updated the analysis here. So you might think like, all right, well, I'll just do that really cool includes thing here and include analysis. And then now it will have analysis on it. That's true. But I think it will have the old one on it because we updated the analysis after this entry got created. So it'll be whatever the analysis was before. So we won't do that. So instead, we need to send back this updated analysis here. So I'll just say data, and then this will be, best way to do this is probably just spread over updated entry, and then you can say analysis, and then that's the updated thing like that. That way we still get back an object that is literally an entry plus an analysis property on it. That is the updated analysis. So it remains that entry shape. And I'll have to change my code. If I would have sent back, I'll just send back an updated entry here. And then I'll also I'll make an object that says entry and it's the entry, and I'll put another property that says analysis. That would break my code on the front end because it's not looking for a property called entry. It expects the whole object to be the entry. And I don't want to change that. So I'm just making a whole new object that is the same thing as this, plus this one field, which my front end is expecting to be here. Did I spell that right? I feel like that's not spelled right. I guess that is right. I just didn't spell it right, like here. I'm like, what? This is bothering me, this word. Let me just fix that.
If you look at any word too long, it looks very weird.
I've been looking at this word way too long, and every time I look at it, I'm like, that does not seem right. Analysis. I have to say it to myself, analysis. That seems so weird. I forgot, it was like a couple years ago, I think I was doing that with rice. I was like, rice.
Yeah,
It's
because
so
the
weird.
Most normal word that you'd never question otherwise. If
Yeah.
you just look at it too long, you're like, what's going on
Is that?
here?
Yeah, that happens. I don't know. Maybe it's a condition. I don't know. It's so weird. Okay, cool. So it seems like it's working there. So then I'm like, you know what? Actually, I lied. Today was so amazing. And I don't know. Let's see if it says I'm happy now. Yay, it does. Today was amazing. My day, happy. So cool. That worked. Got the update going. Everything's cool there.